Hi there. My name is Ellie Harper, and if you're reading this, chances are you've stumbled upon my little corner of chaos. Or maybe just curiosity got the better of you. Either way, welcome. I'm about to take you on a wild ride through one of the most dramatic chapters of my life. A story filled with sibling rivalry, stolen spotlights, and the kind of emotional roller coaster that would make even the best soap operas jealous. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your big moment was hijacked by someone else? So, stick around because this tale might hit close to home. Oh, and hey, if you're enjoying what you read, don't forget to subscribe or follow along for more updates. Trust me, you won't want to miss how this all unfolds. Let me introduce you to the people who star in this drama, starting with yours truly. I'm Ellie Harper, a 32-year-old graphic designer living in the quaint town of Maplewood, Oregon. Life has always been a balancing act for me. Career ambitions on one hand, personal goals on the other. Right now, though, my world revolves around one thing: my impending motherhood. Yep, I'm due any day now, and it's supposed to be my time to shine. Then there's my partner, Liam Dawson. He's the calm to my storm, the guy who reminds me to breathe when I'm spiraling into perfectionist mode. Liam's an architect with a knack for building not just houses but also bridges between people. He's been my rock throughout this pregnancy journey. And finally, there's my younger sister, Harper Bennett. Well, she's complicated. She's charming, impulsive, and somehow always manages to steal the spotlight without even trying. We love each other fiercely, but our relationship has always had its fair share of tension. Maplewood itself plays a role too. It's picturesque with tree-lined streets and cozy coffee shops, but beneath its serene surface lies a web of family dynamics waiting to unravel. This small-town vibe makes everything feel bigger than it should, especially when drama strikes. So here's where things start getting interesting. A few weeks ago, I decided to host a blessing way ceremony, a modern twist on a baby shower, to celebrate this huge milestone in my life. It wasn't just about gifts or games. It was supposed to be a day where everyone focused on me and my journey into motherhood. I envisioned candles, heartfelt speeches, and maybe a few tears, the good kind. But then Harper casually dropped a bombshell at dinner one night. "Oh, by the way," she said, twirling her fork like she was auditioning for some indie film, "I think I'll have an announcement to make at your party too." Her tone was light, almost teasing, but those words hit me like a ton of bricks. An announcement? My day. I tried to brush it off, telling myself she was probably joking, but deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was brewing. That's when the unease crept in. Harper may not have meant anything malicious, but knowing her track record, I couldn't help wondering if she'd unintentionally, or intentionally, steal my thunder. After all, she's done it before. Prom night? She showed up wearing a dress that somehow outshone mine. Graduation? She gave a speech that left everyone talking long after mine was forgotten. Was history about to repeat itself? The morning of the blessing way arrived and I woke up with knots in my stomach. Not from nerves about giving birth, that part still felt distant, but from dread over what Harper might do. As I sipped my chamomile tea, trying to convince myself everything would be fine, my mom, Diane Bennett, called. "Ellie, sweetheart," Harper told me about her big news. Mom gushed, her voice practically bursting with excitement. "Isn't it wonderful? 2 major milestones in one family on the same day." "Wonderful?" "No, Mom, it wasn't wonderful. Felt like a punch to the gut. Sure, I wanted Harper to be happy, but did her timing have to be so perfect? Or rather, imperfect?" I hung up the phone and stared at my reflection in the mirror. "You've got this," I muttered to myself. But as much as I tried to channel confidence, doubt lingered. What if today turned into another chapter in the saga of Harper overshadowing me? When we arrived at the venue, a charming garden decorated with fairy lights and pastel flowers, I could already sense the energy shifting. Guests mingled happily, cooing over tiny onesies and speculating about whether I'd have a boy or a girl. Everything seemed perfect, until Harper walked in. She entered like she owned the place, dressed in a flowing sundress that screamed effortlessly chic. People gravitated toward her naturally, laughing at her jokes and asking endless questions. When someone brought up her mysterious announcement, Harper played coy, saying, "You'll see. It's going to be unforgettable." Unforgettable? Really? That word stuck in my head like a splinter. By the time she took center stage during the ceremony, I was gripping my glass of lemonade so tightly I thought it might shatter. And then it happened. She announced her engagement to her boyfriend, Evan Carter. The crowd erupted into applause, temporarily forgetting why they were even there. Even Liam looked momentarily distracted as he congratulated her. I forced a smile, but inside I was crumbling. After the ceremony, I couldn't hold back anymore. I pulled Harper aside, my voice trembling with anger. "Did you really think today was the right time to announce your engagement?" I demanded. Harper blinked, caught off guard. "What's the big deal, Ellie? You're having a baby, that's huge. Why can't we both celebrate?" "Because it's my day," I shot back. For once I wanted something to be about me. "Is that too much to ask?" Her expression hardened. "You always need everything to revolve around you, don't you? Maybe if you weren't so obsessed with being the center of attention, you'd realize other people have lives too." And with that we both stormed off, leaving behind a trail of unresolved resentment. Over the next few days, guilt and frustration gnawed at me. I confided in Liam, who listened patiently before offering his usual sage advice. "Talk to her," he said gently. "Nothing gets fixed unless you face it head-on." But facing Harper felt impossible. Every time I thought about reaching out, pride stopped me. Meanwhile, Harper threw herself into wedding planning, barely acknowledging me. Our strained silence created a void that neither of us knew how to fill. As my due date approached, the weight of our fractured relationship pressed down on me. I realized something had to give, but what? One afternoon, as I sat on the couch staring blankly at a parenting book I hadn't turned a page of in 20 minutes, my best friend Rachel Meyer walked in unannounced. Rachel has always had this uncanny ability to show up exactly when I need her most. She plopped down beside me, kicked off her sneakers, and gave me that look, the one that says, "Spill it." So I did. I told her everything. Harper's announcement, our fight, the guilt eating away at me. Rachel listened quietly, nodding occasionally until I finally ran out of steam. Then she leaned forward, her green eyes locking onto mine. "Ellie," she said firmly, "Harper's timing was thoughtless, sure. But let's be real. Your reaction came from somewhere deeper than just today. You've been carrying this rivalry for years, haven't you?" Her words hit like a lightning bolt. He was right. This wasn't just about Harper stealing the spotlight at my blessing way. It was about every time she'd unintentionally, or maybe intentionally, eclipsed me. Prom night. Graduation. Even last Christmas, when her holiday cookies somehow won everyone over more than my meticulously planned dinner menu. Rachel placed a hand on my shoulder. "You can't control Harper, but you can reclaim your joy. Stop letting her dictate how you feel about your own life." For the first time in days, I felt a flicker of clarity. Maybe Rachel was onto something. Inspired by Rachel's pep talk, I decided to take matters into my own hands. If Harper wanted to hog the spotlight, fine, but not without a fight. I called up a few close friends and suggested an impromptu girls' night to celebrate my pregnancy again, this time without Harper present. We met at a cozy wine bar downtown, where fairy lights twinkled above us and soft jazz played in the background. It was intimate, just the way I'd envisioned my original blessing way should have been. One by one, my friends stood up to share stories about me, how hardworking I am, how determined I've always been, and how excited they are to see me become a mom. Tears welled up in my eyes as I realized what I'd been missing. Genuine connection. For so long I'd been focused on competing with Harper that I'd forgotten to simply embrace my own journey. By the end of the night, I felt lighter, like I'd finally taken back some of the thunder that had slipped through my fingers. But little did I know news of this outing would reach Harper, and not in the way I expected. The next morning, I woke up to a text from Harper. "Thanks for leaving me out of your little celebration. Real mature, Ellie." My stomach sank. Of course someone had mentioned the gathering to her. I tried to brush it off, telling myself she didn't deserve an explanation, but guilt crept in anyway. Later that day she confronted me directly, showing up at my door with fire in her eyes. "You know what your problem is?" she snapped before I could even say hello. "You're so obsessed with being the center of attention that you can't stand anyone else having their moment. Did it ever occur to you that I didn't plan my engagement to ruin your day? Or that maybe I just wanted to share my happiness with the people I love?" Her words stung. Not because they were entirely wrong, but because they forced me to confront uncomfortable truths. Was I really that selfish? Before I could respond, she turned and walked away, leaving me standing there with a lump in my throat. As my due date loomed closer, the stress of our unresolved feud began taking its toll, not just emotionally but physically. During a routine checkup, My doctor frowned at my blood pressure readings and warned me to avoid unnecessary stress. Your body needs peace right now, Ellie, she said gently. For the sake of your baby, try to find some resolution. Her words echoed in my mind long after I left the office. I knew she was right. Carrying this grudge wasn't helping anyone, least of all my unborn child. But reaching out to Harper felt impossible. Every time I picked up my phone to call her, memories of our argument replayed in my head, freezing me in place. That night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, Liam wrapped his arms around me. You don't have to fix everything overnight, he murmured. Just start small. Maybe tomorrow you send her a text. Let her know you're thinking of her. His suggestion sounded simple enough, but the thought terrified me. What if she ignored me? Worse, what if she lashed out again? Still, I couldn't keep living like this. Something had to change. It happened late one evening, just as I was finishing a bowl of mint chocolate chip ice cream, my latest craving. A sharp pain shot through my abdomen, followed by another, and then another. Panic set in as I realized what was happening. I was in labor. Liam sprang into action, grabbing the hospital bag we'd packed weeks ago while I waddled to the car. The ride to the hospital felt endless, each contraction intensifying until I could barely think straight. Through the haze of pain, one thought kept circling in my mind. Harper. When we arrived at the hospital, I asked Liam to call her. He hesitated, clearly unsure if it was the right move, but ultimately dialed her number. To my surprise, she answered immediately. Within minutes, she was rushing to the hospital, her voice trembling with worry when she spoke to Liam on the phone. As I waited in the delivery room, gripping Liam's hand like a lifeline, I wondered what Harper's arrival would mean, for me, for her, for us. When Harper burst through the door of my hospital room, her usual confidence seemed to falter. Her mascara was smudged, her hair windswept, and her eyes wide with fear. For the first time in years, she looked vulnerable. I'm so sorry, she blurted out before I could say anything. I didn't realize. I didn't mean to make things worse. I want to be here for you. Her apology caught me off guard, but it also melted something inside me. Between contractions we talked, really talked, for the first time in ages. She admitted she'd been jealous of me growing up, always feeling like she lived in my shadow. I confessed that I'd spent years feeling overshadowed by her charm and spontaneity. We've both been idiots, she said with a shaky laugh. No kidding, I replied, managing a weak smile despite the pain coursing through my body. As the hours passed, Harper stayed by my side, coaching me through breathing exercises and offering words of encouragement. In that sterile hospital room surrounded by machines and monitors, we found a piece of ourselves we'd lost along the way: sisterhood. After what felt like an eternity of pushing, screaming, and tears, mostly mine, I finally heard the sound that made every ounce of pain worth it: a tiny cry. My baby boy had arrived, healthy and perfect, weighing in at 7 pounds 3 ounces. The nurse placed him gently on my chest, his warm, slippery skin pressing against mine for the first time. Harper stood nearby, her face streaked with tears she didn't bother to hide. He's beautiful, Ellie, she whispered, her voice cracking. She reached out hesitantly as if afraid to break the spell and brushed a finger across his cheek. In that moment, all the resentment, jealousy, and hurt between us seemed to dissolve. This wasn't about me or Harper anymore. It was about him, this tiny human who had just entered our lives. As I looked up at my sister, I realized something profound. Maybe we weren't rivals after all. Maybe we were teammates, bound together by blood and love, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, for ourselves and for this little boy. The days following my son's birth were a blur of feedings, diaper changes, and sleepless nights. But amidst the chaos, Harper surprised me. Instead of rushing back to wedding planning or disappearing into her own world, she stayed by my side. She brought over meals, folded laundry, and even offered to babysit when I needed a shower, or 5 minutes alone to breathe. One evening, as we sat on the couch watching my son snooze in his bassinet, Harper turned to me with a sheepish smile. I've been thinking. Evan and I decided to postpone the wedding until after your maternity leave. I blinked, stunned. What? Why? Because you're going through a huge life change right now, she explained, fiddling with the hem of her sweater. And honestly, I don't want to overshadow you again. Not intentionally, anyway. Plus, she paused, glancing at my sleeping baby before continuing softly, I want us to be there for each other. No more stupid fights. Deal. Tears welled up in my eyes as I nodded. Deal. Over the next few weeks, Harper and I grew closer than we'd ever been. We started talking openly about our childhood, unpacking years of misunderstandings and hurt feelings. She admitted she'd always felt like the second banana in our family, while I confessed that I'd spent years feeling inadequate compared to her effortless charisma. "It's so dumb," Harper said one afternoon as we sipped tea in my kitchen. "We've both been competing for something neither of us really needed. You're amazing, Ellie. Always have been. And I'm not trying to steal your thunder, I never was." Her words struck a chord deep within me. For the first time I saw Harper not as a rival but as a partner. Our differences weren't flaws, they were strengths. Together we could navigate anything, whether it was late-night feedings, wedding planning, or simply being sisters. Life settled into a rhythm of its own, blending the old with the new. Harper threw herself into helping me adjust to motherhood, teaching me tricks for swaddling and sharing stories from her early days as a nanny. In return, I helped her brainstorm ideas for her postponed wedding, offering advice on everything from color schemes to seating arrangements. One Saturday morning, as Harper held my son while I snapped photos, I realized how far we'd come. Gone were the days of petty arguments and stolen spotlights. In their place was a newfound appreciation for each other, and for the roles we played in each other's lives. As the camera clicked, capturing the laughter and love between us, I knew this chapter of our story would stay with me forever. Months later, Mom, Diane Bennett, organized a joint celebration to honor both my son's arrival and Harper's upcoming wedding. Held in our backyard under twinkling string lights, the event brought together everyone we loved, family, friends, neighbors, all gathered to celebrate two milestones in one joyous evening. Harper gave a heartfelt toast, raising her glass to new beginnings and second chances. Then she turned to me, her eyes shining. "Ellie, thank you for letting me share this journey with you. You're the best sister anyone could ask for, even if you hogged the spotlight growing up." Everyone laughed, including me. "And thanks to you, Harper, for reminding me that life isn't a competition. It's a team effort." That night, as I tucked my son into his crib and kissed his forehead, I reflected on everything that had happened. Harper and I had weathered storms, fought battles, and emerged stronger on the other side. We weren't perfect, we still argued occasionally, but our bond was unshakable now. I thought about the scrapbook Harper had given me earlier that week, filled with photos and mementos from our childhood to the present. On the first page she'd written, "To Ellie, my partner in crime and the best big sister a girl could ask for. Here's to many more adventures together." It was simple, yet it meant the world to me. As summer faded into autumn, Harper dove headfirst into wedding preparations, enlisting my help to design invitations and plan the menu. Watching her excitement reminded me of my own journey toward motherhood, full of nerves, anticipation, and pure joy. Meanwhile, I embraced my role as a mom, finding beauty in the small moments. My son's gummy smiles, his tiny fingers wrapping around mine, the way he cooed contentedly during afternoon naps. Life wasn't without its challenges, but it was infinitely richer with Harper by my side. Together we navigated the ups and downs, supporting each other in ways I never thought possible. By October, Maplewood was ablaze with fiery reds, oranges, and yellows. Harper and I took my son on long walks through the park, collecting leaves and snapping photos for his baby book. One crisp Saturday, we hosted a pumpkin carving contest at my house, inviting friends and family to join in the fun. Harper won naturally with a spooky yet adorable jack-o'-lantern featuring a grinning ghost holding a sign that read, "Big Sis wins again." I rolled my eyes good-naturedly, secretly impressed by her creativity. Later that evening, as we roasted marshmallows over a fire pit, Harper leaned over and whispered, "Remember when we used to fight over everything?" I chuckled. "Yeah, but look at us now. Who would have thought we'd end up here?" He grinned. "Guess miracles really do happen." The season shifted, bringing shorter days and cooler nights. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the backyard, Harper and I sat beneath the old oak tree, watching my son giggle as he chased leaves swirling in the breeze. "I can't believe how much has changed," Harper mused, pulling her sweater tighter around her shoulders. "Me neither," I replied, smiling as I watched her scoop up my son and spin him around. "But I wouldn't trade it for anything." For the first time in years, I felt truly at peace, with myself, with Harper, and with the life we were building together. Looking back, I realized this journey taught me more than I ever expected. Life isn't about competing for attention or proving yourself to others. It's about connection, forgiveness, and growth. Harper and I may have started as rivals, but we ended up as partners, navigating life's twists and turns side by side. If I could give anyone advice, it would be this. Don't let pride or fear stand in the way of healing a broken relationship. Sometimes the people who challenge us most are the ones who help us grow the most. On the eve of Harper's wedding, she presented me with a scrapbook, a companion piece to the one she'd given me months earlier. This one chronicled our recent adventures. Photos from my blessing way, pictures of us laughing in the hospital, snapshots of my son's first months of life. On the final page she'd written, "To my big sister who taught me that family isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, staying strong, and loving each other no matter what. Here's to us." I hugged her tightly, tears streaming down my face. "Thank you," I whispered. "This means everything." Harper's wedding day dawned bright and clear, the kind of morning that fills you with hope and promise. As I stood beside her, cradling my son in my arms, I couldn't help but marvel at how far we'd come. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, Harper turned to me, her eyes shining with happiness. "Love you, sis," she mouthed silently. "Love you too," I mouthed back, my heart swelling with gratitude. As the ceremony ended and guests cheered, I watched Harper dance with her new husband under a canopy of stars. Beside me, Liam wrapped an arm around my shoulder and my son giggled happily in my arms. In that moment, surrounded by love and laughter, I knew one thing for certain. Family isn't perfect, but it's worth fighting for.